All right, guys, so let me explain to you why Israel printing 100 million% more money than they started with just a couple decades ago means Iran has to get nuked and everybody in Iran has to die, and you can't afford a family, and you have to die. First of all, what did they do with all that money that they printed? You saw in my other video how much money they printed, and it's accurate. Confirm it yourself. What did they do with all that money? Because if you follow the money, it's going to tell you what's going to happen next. So let's follow it. The Israel military budget outspends every other nation per resident by a large margin. I didn't put that in there. Nearly $5,000 each is what ChatGPT Deep Research says. Do this search yourself, it'll tell you exactly the same thing. And this is the actual documented money. This doesn't count the black market money. This doesn't count the illicit money, the secret money that they spent on plutonium, uranium, on bribing scientists and other governments and lobbying. This is just what's reported to the United Nations. And it's the single largest spender on the military. Why would they spend so much money on the military though? Well, it's like, let me explain this to you this way. Printing money is like selling you a rare oil painting that turns out to be just a color copy that everybody already has. Then instead of giving you a refund, the dealer uses your money to buy a gun? That's exactly what a schoolyard bully does. The bully borrows money, takes your lunch money from you, and then when you're like, well, it's already Friday, can I get my lunch money back? He'll say, sorry, bro. I bought this with it instead.
This does a better job.
What literally ends up happening is that Israel uses its shekels to buy things like technology, buy things like patents and licenses from NVIDIA, from China, and all the surrounding nations. It buys things to build its buildings. Have you seen Tel Aviv recently? It's beautiful. Well, except for super recently with all the buildings that have been demolished. So it buys stuff using its shekels, and then the people that hold the shekels, like the United States, England, China, they're holding a bunch of Israeli shekels, and they're like, oh, we can't really spend the shekels here in China or here in America. So we're going to give you your shekels back. Can I instead get American dollars or better yet, gold? Israel's like, no can do. And they're like, okay, so maybe if I give you your shekels back, you can let me buy land in Israel. No, we can't do that either. Well then, what can I get with your shekels?
Here's Israel's only reply. Say hello to my little friend.
Can't leave this part out. Bam. So you could say that's fine and all as far as conspiracy theories go. That's a bunch of bullshit. Why would they attack Iran of all places then? Number one, Iran is one of the only countries left that doesn't have a central bank in it. And number two, Iran just did this. Yes, in addition to the world's second largest natural gas and crude oil reserves, Iran has recently achieved a milestone in rare earth element production by successfully isolating 17 elements with high purity through a pilot project.
Rare earth elements. It's what everything's about right now.
Okay, so that makes sense as to why Iran has to die, but why can't I afford to have a family now? Because of all this crap, and why do I have to die? It's like this. So, if your grandpa willed you $1 million in 1980, $1 million in 1980, between the M2 money supply, GMO, variable interest rates, you'd now have 50 cents. And I'm not talking about the rapper. Let me analyze this for you. Because they printed so much money, then what they did was, and another question people ask me is, well, most of that money supply explosion happened in the 90s and 2000s. Why all of a sudden now? Because of rare earths. And how long are U.S. Treasury's expiries? They're exactly 20, 30 years. So now Israel has to be paid back even though they have fake money. So what's Israel going to have to do? They have to actually get real value, something of real value to give back for their fake money. Okay, so, but that still doesn't answer why I can't have a family and why I have to die. All right, so look at this. If Israel, and America, by the way, prints this much fake money, then what they do is they GMO the thing, artificially chemically and genetically modify your food so that the beef that you eat, literally, there was a guy on Twitter that just said that he noticed his beef, actual beef, year over year has been increasing at the rate of 30% per year. So within 3 years, the price of beef doubles. And then within, 10 years, the price of beef goes up 10x or 20x. Yeah, but not just 20x. You're not actually even getting beef. You used to get 100% real beef, and then it'd be okay if all of a sudden it cost 20 times more than it did 30 years ago. But you're not even getting real beef. You're getting fillers. You're getting plastic. You're getting genetically modified. What the hell is this in your actual sirloin and ribeye? I'm not kidding. And then between variable interest rates, you want to wait 5 years to buy a house? Don't do that. You need to get this loan right now because it starts at a low 0.1%. In fact, we're not even going to charge you interest on the first year. You might get charged interest on the second year or third year. Suddenly on the fifth year, you get a 15% interest rate. Suddenly, your mortgage that was $600 a month is $3,000 a month 8 years later. So if your grandpa gave you $1 million and you just put it in the bank, between all these things, right now, 30 years later, you'd have 50 cents left. They not only destroy the value of the money you have, they take what little money you have left away through high compound interest. And this is all the result of this. I'm on Twitter, OTC_Bitcoin.